One of the most iconic women in history, Cleopatra. She didn't just make her mark with beauty, but with brilliance, strategy, and dangerous games of power. Do you think Cleopatra was only famous for her looks? Did you know how many languages she actually spoke, or how she brought Roman emperors to their knees? Fact number 5 will shock you. If you're ready, let's uncover 10 unbelievable secrets about Cleopatra together. Fact number 1, Cleopatra mastered 9 languages. Cleopatra wasn't just a queen. She was like the ancient world's living translation app. Historians say she could fluently speak 9 different languages, a rare and extraordinary skill for her time. And here's the most surprising part. Cleopatra was the first and only Ptolemaic ruler who spoke the Egyptian language. Every ruler before her only spoke Greek, keeping a distance from the Egyptian people. But Cleopatra was different. She spoke to her people in their own tongue, winning their hearts, and to her enemies in their languages, disarming them with words. She didn't need translators during meetings with Roman envoys. She spoke directly and sharply. For her, language wasn't just about communication. It was a weapon of power. Because Cleopatra knew every language is a door, and she walked through them all with skill, earning her name a place in history written in golden letters. Fact number 2, she declared herself a goddess. Cleopatra didn't just settle for being a queen. She declared herself the earthly incarnation of the goddess Isis. This move not only boosted her political power, but also created a mystical respect and fear among the people. Isis, the goddess of love, motherhood, and magic, was considered sacred and untouchable by the people. Cleopatra, however, used this symbol to present her rule as a divine will. Thus, challenging her wasn't just seen as a political act, it was perceived as going against divine order. This was a brilliant tactic that combined religious belief, feminine power, and politics, turning Cleopatra into not just a leader, but a legend. Fact number 3, she had a poison laboratory in her palace. Yes, this one is truly fascinating. Cleopatra tested the effects of different poisons on her enemies. She set up a sort of poison laboratory in her palace, searching for the most effective and clean death. Historians even claim that she prepared the finest poison for her own suicide. Imagine this, the queen herself, like a scientist, conducting experiments in secret. Fact number 4, she used an aromatic ship to psychologically influence people. Plutarch writes that when Cleopatra sailed along the Nile, a powerful and delightful fragrance emanated from her ship, making people feel as if her presence had already arrived before they even saw her. This was her signature. Her very presence was an entrance. Her arrival was announced by the scent, and her influence intimidated people. Her name today appears everywhere, from perfumes to Hollywood films. She wasn't just a queen, she was a symbol, a legend, and an energy. Fact number 5, Cleopatra wasn't actually Egyptian, so who was she? This woman, who became the symbol of Egypt throughout history, was actually of Greek descent. Her family was from the Ptolemaic dynasty, descendants of one of Alexander the Great's generals, and for centuries the Greeks ruled Egypt. But Cleopatra made a difference. She was the first Ptolemaic ruler who learned the ancient Egyptian language and adopted the people's culture and religion. So while not Egyptian by blood, she was Egyptian in spirit. And maybe that's why the people loved her more than any other ruler. Fact number 6, Cleopatra was Egypt's last pharaoh. But this wasn't just a title. Cleopatra wasn't just any queen. She was the official last pharaoh of Egypt, bearing the title of pharaoh. Being a pharaoh wasn't just about ruling, it was a divine status. By declaring herself the earthly incarnation of the goddess Isis, she made herself both the leader of the people and someone with a connection to the gods. Fact number 7, Cleopatra's suicide. Was it a legend or a planned drama? History says Cleopatra ended her life with the bite of a poisonous asp, cobra. Some historians claim that she actually used a specially prepared poison from her palace's poison laboratory to end her life. Why did she do this? Because the Roman army was at her doorstep, and she was offered to be taken prisoner, humiliated, and paraded in front of the empire. But Cleopatra controlled even her death. It was dramatic, honorable, and terrifying. This wasn't just a suicide, it was her final message to the world. You may defeat me, but you will never capture me. Fact number 8. Cleopatra and Mark Antony. Love or a power play? This relationship was an alliance that changed the future of two empires. Cleopatra and Mark Antony were indeed in love, but their love was intertwined with political motives. Together, they were powerful enough to make the Roman Senate tremble. Antony even gifted Cleopatra lands of Egypt and declared her the Queen of the East. But Rome saw this relationship as treason. Their love ultimately led to war between Rome and Egypt, and eventually to the tragic downfall of both. So their relationship wasn't a mere love story, it was a dangerous political alliance that changed history. Fact number 9. Cleopatra entered Caesar's room, rolled up in a carpet. Do you know how Cleopatra first met Julius Caesar? At that time, Caesar was already in Egypt, and Cleopatra had political struggles with her brother, but she wanted to impress him and win his favor. So she chose perhaps the first ever clever entrance tactic in history. She had herself wrapped in a carpet and brought into the palace, where she was unrolled in front of him. When Caesar saw this scene, he was stunned. He didn't just see a brave and intelligent woman, he saw a queen who would change the future. And it was at this moment that their political and personal relationship began. Fact number 10. Cleopatra once outsmarted Roman law by tricking the scale. Once, Cleopatra was required to pay a fine in gold according to Roman law, but instead of paying the full amount, she decided to play with the scales. She showed less gold by manipulating the weight, focusing on more silver and presenting a visual illusion to deceive her opponents. By hiding the gold, she effectively, silently hacked the Roman laws. This wasn't just clever, it was a brilliant tactical move for her time. Cleopatra was not just beautiful, she was a symbol of feminine power in her time. With her intelligence, she reshaped the politics of empires. With her courage, she shook the foundations of Roman leadership. She didn't fight on battlefields, she fought with words and strategy. She turned her intellect into a weapon, and her charm into a shield, leaving a mark on history that still glows today. Cleopatra was not just a queen, she was a visionary. Every step she took, every word she spoke still echoes in history books, inspires films and novels even centuries later. She didn't write her name in history with a sword, but with wit, willpower, and an unforgettable aura. Centuries may pass, but people still can't forget her. Because Cleopatra wasn't just a woman, she was a legend. If this extraordinary life story inspired you, like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. Together, we'll keep exploring the deepest mysteries of the past. And in future videos, even more hidden histories and unforgettable icons await you.